wondering how to do this video, and I'm just going to walk through the new expenses that we have, the increase of expenses that we have, and then I'm going to talk about my plan, or hopefully my pre-plan, or what I think should happen to make sure that we get ahead of our expenses. So I don't want to go back to robbing Peter to pay Paul. I don't want to go back to scraping pennies, even though I don't think anything is wrong with saving coins, like literal coins. I just don't want to be scraping them just to try and get by. That thought alone is a little bit scary to me. So I want to take the opportunity in this video to give you a real life view of what it's like when your fixed costs increase, and then what happens when you have new expenses that you haven't had before or in a while, and how to fit it in your budget. Because for me, it's like once I get to a nice budget, I know what my fixed expenses are, I know what bills come out when each month, like you're in a groove, and you're just flowing with your budget, and then something changes. It makes you think, am I going to be able to fit these new things in? How and where and why? Like, a decrease of expenses, it's a great thing, right? Because then you can say, oh, I'll have extra money to save, in the month, or extra money to invest, or go and set up my vacation or something. But when it increases, it kind of puts you on the edge of your seat, and then it forced me to go backwards and say, God, help me figure out a plan and a way to get ahead of these so that it's not too overwhelming, burdensome, or put me further into debt. Because when I started this year, the goal was already get rid of the credit card debt. But because our family needed certain things that makes our day-to-day living much easier and smoother, especially since we grew our family by a whole nother person this year. So I'm just trying to figure out where to go. So I'm going to talk about what the new expenses are, what the increases are, and then hopefully step by step just talk about how I hope to get ahead of them. I might have to break that out into like 2 or 3 different videos, because I don't want this to be so long and so heavy that people kind of drop off and don't get to see the realistic moves that I'd have to make just to make this work. So let's hopefully you're still with me. I'm trying to move through this carefully and not rush it, because I could miss something really, really important, and I don't want to. I'm using it's a hardcover. It's available on Amazon if you'd like to purchase it. It's a notebook for visions and goals, or vision and goals. Our family's vision is to leave a legacy, to build generational wealth, and to leave a really good, strong legacy. And it's taken some time, but that's why I like to see this, write the vision and make it plain, right? So that it's clear what we're trying to do and what we're going to accomplish. So write the vision and make it plain. I'm going to write down our new expenses, and then hopefully write down some action steps to get ahead of them, because the first set of new expenses or new payments are coming up soon. I'm filming this video on Tuesday, May 28th. Our first expenses that are due to come out, one is on the 1st of June, which is just a few days from now, and that's with Geico. And the new total, at least for June, is going to be $758.70 for the first payment. Why? Because we bought a new car. So that is the second expense. I searched around for new insurance. I tried to find a much less expensive insurance, but unfortunately, Geico is the least expensive at this point. And so many of the car insurance carriers I checked with don't even write in my area. They don't insure my zip code, which is upsetting, but this is where we are for right now. And I think because our policy had already renewed, and this is me knowing the backstory because I am an insurance agent, so I know what some companies do. It already renewed. They're trying to catch up on premium, even though the car wasn't insured before a certain time. When the car wasn't there, the car didn't exist for us when we renewed our policy, but it is what it is. So we have 2 more payments basically within our policy period. So this $758.70, and then our next payment will be June 1st. Our next payment will be due on July 1st, and that's the next half of what we would owe for the 6 months. So I think it's still doable. And the good news is I've already saved almost $900 in our vehicle insurance fund just so we could pay the higher insurance, because I anticipated the premium to be much higher, because remember, we've had our insurance for the last 5 years, but 3 years ago we sold our van. So in the past 3 years we've had a non-owner's auto policy, and we were just waiting for when we bought the new to us car that we would add it. So I expected this to be, so I have this more than this set aside, but we have to catch up for July. So what I plan to do is in June try to put as much money aside as I can into our vehicle insurance and our next month's bills to be able to pay for July's payment. And what I did off camera, like when I was just checking our increase of expenses, this $758.70 breaks down to about $190 a week we would need to save up so we could have July's payment ready. And I think July is a 5-pay month, but even still, I'm going to use 758 divided into 4, 189.50. So I just rounded it to 190. So 190 a week. I don't know how we're going to do that with the way our budget is set up right now, but I'm going to try my best. Okay. The next new expense would be our car loan. I don't know if it's called car loan or car note, but I'm going to stick with car loan for now. It's $460 every single month, but we're making weekly payments because we don't like that and we're trying to get rid of it. This payment is not due until June 14th. So we had almost a month of no payments, but we've already made our first payment, which is a weekly payment of $115. And what I just recently found out after I made that first payment of $115, that $55 of that, or $57 of that $115 payment is going towards finances, or the interest. So I'm basically making our debt snowball, if you want to consider it that, $60 added on to the minimum $115 that we're paying every week. So we're already ahead of the payment since it's not due until the 14th, and I made the payment a week from the day I'm recording, which is again Tuesday, May 28th or 29th. 28th, sorry. So I made a payment a week ago, and we're going to make another payment this week, and we've already set it up to come out automatically, but I wanted to get ahead of it. So when July comes, we're not scrambling to make the payments. There are no late payments, no charges, and we attack the interest, or attack the principal as much as possible and lower the interest as much as we can. So car insurance and car loan are our two new, increased expense and new expense. Then, of course, because we're driving in New York, we need an Easy Pass. Even if we weren't driving in New York, we would still need Easy Pass for when we, maybe travel out state. We don't want to have to pay higher toll prices. So our Easy Pass gets replenished at $25. And I don't know how often it would be replenished because, again, it depends on where we drive. So I'm just going to assume if it's $25 twice per month, even though that's not what's happened, but anyway, $50. Let's just say $50. Is $25 is where the amount that they would replenish if we go below $10 left on the Easy Pass itself. And of course, there's no actual due date for that. It's just whenever, we fall below a certain balance, they'll add it in. For the last 2 weeks, we've had the car. We have had 3 replenishments, and I think that's one because we had some stocking up to do, and we went a pretty good distance, and we had to pay a toll. So it's not usual for us to do that, but it was easier because we had the car. So I'm trying to knock out some big things that needs to be done before the summer comes and just getting us prepared. So that's a new expense. Now, another new expense that we haven't had in a while is our warehouse membership. I purchased an annual membership with Costco. Again, we haven't had a Costco in like 3 years. But now that we have a vehicle, it makes it easier for us to get there, because our rideshare expenses were increasingly ridiculously expensive. So I paid for the executive membership, and with tax, it came up to $130. There's some change on the end, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Now, I would save for this in our annual bills fund. So we already have money in the annual bills, which can cover this first year's payment, and this is going to be due every 5/25, I believe. So this is annual, and I don't think we'll have a problem with saving for this because we have such a long time now to save towards it. Um, but again, I need to make sure I add it back to our bills, our list of expenses, so that when it comes, I'm not like having to pull from that incoming money. I already have it saved. So basically, I'm trying to save $190 a week for Geico. I don't know if I'll be able to do that, starting in June or not, but that's what I should be doing. I also know that the car loan, we've already set this up. We already put money aside to start taking care of this and attacking the principal. So that's the 115 plus $60, when we can, hopefully every week. But, for right now, we're just making 115 every week until we can add that additional $60 on it to make it the 175, if my math is right. I can add, you guys. I know I can. Yeah, 175. So, E-ZPass, again, it's on our credit card. We use the credit card because it's easy for us. It's healthy for us. It's helpful to us. And Costco, because we are going to need to stock up, and we have a larger family, so it's just going to be easier to do the bulk shopping than the piece by piece at the local grocery store. With the bigger things, we can get like formula for the baby, diapers, because she's going to be in diapers for a good while. Um, just household things. So, and because again, we have the car, so it's a blessing from God. We can travel to and from without having to pay for Lyft's ride or Uber rides and stuff like that. Taking the bus, which takes extra long. And I have 4 children now. 2 of them are under 7, and one of them is an infant. The other one is a teenager. So we need the space. We need to be able to move around. So, anywho, these are the 4. I wrote in some extra things. Now, these are fixed expenses, right? Geico, or these are necessary expenses. We're going to have to pay either weekly, monthly, however it's set up. But we have to pay for these now because we're choosing to make sure we insure the car. We took out a loan. E-ZPass is necessary, and then Costco is necessary for our household, basically where we are. The rest of these are basically the expenses that come with having a car. So we need our gas. Now, this is going to come from transportation. We have a transportation fund. I'm going to break down all of the things that will be paid from that fund specifically. But car gas is basically right now, from a half a tank, we've spent about $25. Actually about 22 and some change, but I'm going to round this up to $25, and this is every single week. So I'm just going to put weekly here because that's been my experience for the past 2.5, 3 weeks. $25 to fill up when it's at half a tank. So I'm assuming about $50 to fill it up if it got to low, if it got to a zero, like nothing left. I don't want to ride on empty at all. So my goal is to try and fill up when it's at half a tank. Once it hits half a tank, that's what we'll do. Right now, about every 8 days, it hits half a tank. So I'm thinking that's, you know, the normal based on where I go, just taking the kids to school, running a quick grocery errand, bank run. But like when the summer comes and we start going out a lot more, I don't know if that will change, but I want to make sure I'm putting aside enough money in our transportation fund to take care of that. Next up is, what is it? Oh my gosh. The maintenance of the car. So what I just found out is that one tire is like $250. It could be different in my area, but I want to make sure that we do that. So I don't know anything about, it's a fairly new car. It's a 2021, so it's only 3 years old. So it's really in really good condition. I'm kind of mixing up where I am writing here, so let me draw a little line to help myself so I know what's what. Okay, and you know what? I should do it here. Let me just, I know this won't look the neatest, but oops. This is where we are. Maintenance. This is going to fluctuate, obviously. But I'm thinking if I can save, if it's $250, about $250 a tire, and of course 4 tires, that's $1,000. I don't know what else could happen, right? So I'm just going to add an extra $500 to that and make that $1,500. And this, I don't know how often that would be, but $1,500 seems reasonable to have put aside for maintenance for the car. We already have an emergency fund, so that's not an issue, but I want to put this money aside specifically in our transportation fund. And then I'll put accessories, because at times we will want car accessories, and that's, you know, the air fresheners or the little stuff to clean the car, the little dust rags, things like that. And I'm just going to put $100 for that and make that monthly, and we'll see. And that again will come from transportation, because I'm going to set money aside specifically for the new car. I'm not sure if there's anything else that I really need to put. There's nothing else I can think of to add to this list right now, but I have the space if that does happen. And I need to talk about our purpose funds. So basically, what we have are 3 things that need to get funded just to help with these costs: transportation, vehicle insurance, next month's bills. And then these are the different categories within this purpose fund right here. This transportation will cover our gas, tolls, maintenance, and of course any type of travel expense. So that could be public transportation or just some random miscellaneous type of car thing that we have to take care of. So travel expenses also still, because it's just the one car for right now. Any accessories, any let me see. Yeah, that's what it's going to cover. Vehicle insurance is just that. So this is to pay our premium for the car. Okay, next month's bills. This is for all of the new expenses that we have and trying to get ahead of the increased expenses. So these are our regular fixed expenses. And that would cover, let's say, this here, this Costco, that's a number 3 for next month's bills. The car loan, of course, we are paying this, but I want to get further ahead of it. And then vehicle insurance, that would be a 3. So this is where I would save to get ahead of these. And then Easy Pass, that would come from our transportation expense, because it won't necessarily come out every single month, and it's going to be different, and it might come out twice in a week if we, you know, have like emergency trips that where we're actually paying tolls. So I'm going to use the transportation fund to take care of that. For gas, that's going to be a 1. That's going to come from transportation. Oh, vehicle insurance. I said 3. Well, it really could be 2 and 3 because I'm saving it up here, but then to get ahead, I'll use this here. So, yeah, maybe I can simplify this. But for now, 2 and 3 to pay for the next month because I want to have something separate for this and this here because I would like to pay it in full for 6 months. Every 6 months would be ideal, so you save when you pay one time as opposed to every single month, which is what the goal is. Okay, maintenance would come from 1. That's transportation, and accessories would come from 1. I hope that's clear and makes sense how I'm thinking about it. Realistically, because we don't know how often the Easy Pass will come out. So just looking at well, let's add all of it up. I'll add everything up just to see, but these are different amounts. They're coming out at different times. So I'll just focus on these two. So here, just highlight this because that's the focus, the main focus. 758.70 plus 460, which is 1218. So this is what we need to look forward to for the next month in July. And I'll probably just do a quick video, a separate video on what's in these 3 funds so that at least we can start making a plan of action to increase them. Because we do have balances. This is revolving, of course, because we've already been paying for certain transportation related costs. Vehicle insurance, it has a good amount in it to pay for the first payment, but we need to start working for June, but we need to start working on saving up for July. So I'll have to see, divide it by the number of weeks I have to pay the next payment to see if we'll have enough. Good news is we're already ahead of this one. So when I do the next video, when I sit down and look at everything, I'll share how we plan to get even further ahead. I would love to be at least 3 months ahead of this so we can attack the principal much faster. And I don't know what it is, but making weekly consistent payments, it just seems to be easier than trying to save up that one lump sum. So again, you can make small payments if you need to, even if it's just small payments to yourself to save up for the next large bill. So in the next video, I'll share how much is in there and then what the amount we need to save towards it, how long we have, so we can figure it out. The Budget Mom did a great video on this, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago. And I might want to go back and just watch that so I can get a better understanding of how to save for it. But those are our new expenses. Those are our increased expenses. And we're slowly getting to a place where I feel more comfortable about how to make sure we're ahead of them because I don't want to get behind. So again, if you're in the position like me where you do not want to rob Peter to pay Paul, let's try to figure this out together and stay positive and stay focused on the vision that you have for your life so that as you write the vision, make it plain, you get to understand. You'll kind of get more understanding as you go along. Like everything is not exposed immediately. Like you may have a vision, but you might see a part of what's happening. You don't see all of the fine details that leads up to that big goal, that generational wealth, that legacy building. You may not see it all at once. And you have to kind of walk in the dark a little bit because you're getting little glimpses here and there and your peeks into what your future looks like. And so you have to manage your money paycheck by paycheck, dollar by dollar, $10, $15 consistently to see that you reach your goals. I hope that's making sense. Like I know this is $760 and that's a big amount, but I did the work ahead of time and I saved towards our 6-month premium. So I have this amount already. And now, because I already have June's, now I'm looking forward to July, and I'm going to see how much money do I need to save. And I believe that's 190 every single week. So if I'm saving this money now, I can save it in 2 places to get ahead of it, but I want to make sure to have this amount in here and then also use this fund. Because I think what I want to do is be ahead of all of our bills, and I'll just have to add it to this, but this is where vehicle insurance is where it be coming from. I hope that's not confusing. I thank you so much for being here. I will try to make a new video on what we're saving and how we're saving towards these funds, and release it within the next week. Continue to mind your money, you guys. Manage it well. Live your lives abundantly. Thank you so much for being here. Bye for now.